Hello, hello. We are live. This is the Ask Your Mentor Anything live. We do weekly on Fridays, and today we have a special guest, Diego Cascheri from Italy. It's a great honor for me. It's the first time. Hello, Diego. Welcome. It's the first time that I have as a guest a CEO. So for me, it's also challenging to have a discussion with you. I'm very challenging, and also I think it's very interesting for all of us. So hello. Please do use the comments below. Let us know if you can hear us, watch as well. Where are you watching us from? And if you have any questions about today's topic, which is going to be the point of view of an LSP owner, which is Diego today, and what LSPs look for when they look for a new translator in-house or not in terms of soft or hard skills. So if you have any questions for Diego, please do use the comment section below this video, and we will be able to see in the comments area your questions to answer them during the discussion later on. So hello all, welcome once again. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Would you like to introduce yourself to those that might not know you already?
Oh yes, of course. Thank you for having me, Virginia, today. And yeah, I hope the volume is better in any way. But
do let us know if you can hear us or watch as well. If there's anything like with an echo or the sound, we would really appreciate your feedback. Hello, Marianne. So please do let us know in the comments if you can hear as well.
Yes. So my name is Diego. And as you said, I'm the CEO. I'm the founder, actually. I'm trying to find actually a new name for my role because I don't like the founder and CEO. Well, CEO, I guess it's important, but I think the founder thing is not really important. But I founded Creative Words. It's a localization company based in Italy, in Genova.
Genova, nice.
And yeah, that's basically it. I take care of the strategy of the company. I have a very good team helping me with managing the company. So I was thinking something like, I don't know, happiness manager. What I do in the office is basically keeping people happy and doing jokes. So that's what I do every day in the office. No, well, I take care of the strategy of the company. So which customers we should
go after.
Go after, yes, and these kind of things. Of course, recruiting for internal and external people. So that's what I do.
Thank you so much. So I will start with the same questions that I ask everyone because that's the most common questions that the mentees in the group usually make. So they're pretty interested to know your background and how did you start out? You were a translator? Have you studied translation? What is your background in relations to translation?
Well, I've been lucky, I would say, because I studied languages when I was 14.
Wow.
And I chose to study languages because I liked the English language. And so for 5 years in high school, I did the language school. And after that, the only choice I had was studying translation. I didn't want to do anything else.
Wow.
So I told my parents, either I do this school or nothing, and I go find a job somewhere. And they let me choose that school. And so I studied translation. Actually, in my school, you had to choose between translation and interpreting. I chose interpreting.
Actually. Okay, challenging.
Yes. Oh, well, my idea was that you would get to travel a lot with interpreting.
Yeah.
So that was my choice. But I never did an interpretation session. So I've been lucky enough to find a job before graduating, actually, in a translation company, which was in my small city, which is not Genova. It's where I live, actually. And so before graduating, I found this job as a translator. And then I became a project manager because I like to be in touch with people and so on. And after 3 years, I became a partner. And that was also a lucky thing because another partner left the company. So they needed someone else. And they asked me.
It was the same company that you started out as a translator?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it took me just 3 years, but it's not because of any merit or anything I did. It was because of luck.
I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in luck.
No, well, I've been lucky enough to have been asked to become a partner. I had to work a lot to keep that position, I guess.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant, that you have to have worked a lot in order to reach that point. So someone to ask you to become a partner in their company. Wow, so that's a great story. And then?
And then, well, I studied, I was looking for something about managing companies. So I attended a master in like economics and this kind of stuff. And then after 8 years of being a partner in that company, we had different visions with my former business partner, and she was the founder. So the only solution was me leaving the company, and that's what I did. So at the end of 2016, I left the company and created my own company.
Wow,
and that's where I am.
Yeah, you've made such a progress in so like a short term, if we can say that's 4 years now. Is that correct?
The company, yes, 3 years and a half. It was at the very end of 2016.
Yeah, but you have a huge visibility all around, at least from of my part, because I've seen everywhere like posts and blogs and people know it already from Elia Together, which I'm going to discuss about that later. Okay, so that's very interesting. We have some similarities in our course. Like I also was into languages like in the primary schools. In the primary school, I also wanted only to study that. I also before graduate from university, got my first in-house position, but not in a translation company, rather a big consulting company. And then, no, I wasn't asked to become a partner, but then I realized that I would like to found my own path and to create my own company. And actually I did it in 2014. So there, and also I got my MBA later during my career, as you did in the economics. So it's pretty interesting, the background that you have. Thank you for sharing it with us. So I think with your story, we skip all the other questions, which is how did you find your first client? I think you applied to become an in-house translator in that company.
Well, actually, that's when I said I was lucky. It's because a friend of mine was at the hairdressers, and she was overhearing a conversation on the phone of someone there, and that person who then was my business partner for a long time, she was mentioning that she was looking for some translator in-house. And I didn't even know that there was a translation company in that city because nobody told me at the university that I needed to look for translation companies.
Exactly.
So yes, I applied. I did a very, very, very bad job interview.
From what part? From your own part, you mean?
my own part, of course. My performance was really not good in the interview.
Okay.
And so I left the office with no hope. But I was shocked about knowing what the translation company was doing. They didn't know anything about localization, about anything. And they were mentioning such big customers, such huge names, and I was shocked. I was impressed. And then I thought, let me try again, and I sent a very emotional email to that person that then became my business partner. And I was in London with my parents in a short vacation, and she called me, and after a couple of days, I get a job.
Okay, so she might show something in you, and maybe also your passion working with you.
Yeah, I thought that I could make a difference there. I didn't know where exactly, in which role, but I really badly wanted to join that company at the time.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty nice. And it's also by coincidence you found your first job. So you have to, for those that they are starting out and they would like to find an opportunity to work, don't lose those opportunities. You never know where your next opportunity to get a job, a project, or as a freelancer or in-house translator might come. So Diego's example is one of those, of the coincidence. So we have to have our ear and everything open. So so as to accept all these opportunities that might come to us. And also, I think it's very important to your story, Diego, that you had already mentioned to that friend of yours that you would really like to find such a job job. So when she heard about that story, she came back to you telling. So one mistake that we make is do not disclose, and we do not say what we want to do, or what we would like to do, or what we are doing exactly. So we do not market ourselves, and that's, I think, a pain point of translators. And
well, absolutely. And when I found that job, I actually sent like millions like applications via emails, and I didn't get any reply.
For in-house positions? For in-house positions?
Well, I didn't know, because I didn't know that there were companies making actual translations. I didn't really know. Like, I was just looking for, I think I was looking for the translation studio or something like that.
Okay.
Well, that's Italian, but yeah, or translation office on the internet, and I was sending like applications everywhere, but I got no replies, and it was not because of them, it was because of the way I was applying, actually.
Exactly, and we're going to cover that, because I think it's one of the most like common questions my mentees. I've sent 200 CVs and no one has answered me. Exactly. So this is the most common, and I'm so glad to find out that also you, as a CEO right now and founder, you had also the same. You made the same mistakes like all of us, because there's a lack of education in that topic. I think there is lack of that.
A huge lack of education.
Yeah. So we are going to cover that. And I see that Francis says he loves the topic. Great that you love the topic that you're going to discuss. I knew that there was an interest in such a topic. And I know there is also interest not only for starting out translators, but more experience, because especially during now the coronavirus, Diego, they find it difficult to get the jobs they want or the rates they want from the agencies, LSPs. So we were going to cover that in our topic. So before we enter that, it was very interesting. We said so far how Diego found his first job as a translator, and how he scaled up, if we can say, and he developed to become also a founder and company owner, and now a CEO. So it's very interesting. I would be very curious to know what made you so determined to go after and create your own company. Okay, you passed from the stage of become a partner, so you knew already how to deal with the company's issues every day. So you had a background and experience already, and then you took the leap to create your company. So for you, it was, I think, a bit easier than just opening a
company.
Of
course. Well, it was much easier. In fact, I'm very thankful to my former company, because I learned a lot. It's just that I was feeling sort of like blocking what I wanted to achieve for the company itself and for myself. And then you reach a stage where you want to grow, and there was no possibility.
You want to grow,
well, the founder was the owner, and she was there, and she was the CEO. So,
what is the first thing that they want like you to take the leap and create their own company, translation? They do. You create a team. You outsourced. You just found the place. What is the first thing? Not everything, but the first thing that you have to do in order to start out as a company owner.
I can tell you what I did, but that's not what I suggest that everybody does.
Okay. We share our experience here, so don't worry.
What I did first, very first thing is I looked for a huge office, and it was really big.
An office, okay.
It was really big, and it stayed empty for 6 months, probably. So I looked for the place first, and then at the beginning, I was doing everything by myself. So I was doing accounting, I was doing translation, I was doing project managing. So I didn't even look for a team. And I was doing sales, of course, as well. So first thing, the office. Second thing, I asked someone I knew to join me. Actually, I contacted someone and asked them to draw a painting for the office, because it was empty, and I knew that she was into art and painting.
Nice.
She came, and she was a former trainee of the other company. Intern of the other company, and then she joined as a project manager, and she stayed with me for a while, and then we grew quite quickly into like 8 people team in the office. But at the beginning, my first big move is to actually hire a project manager, but that was after 8 months.
Okay, you had set up everything, the processes, the sales, the first sales, the office, and then the project manager, and then everything.
Yeah, because I couldn't do everything by myself. I couldn't keep doing that.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And then the other big move was the accountant.
Yeah, you have an in-house accountant, because I have an accountant, but it's not an in-house accountant.
No, I do everything else, because we work with many companies, and doing the invoicing at the end of the month was getting crazy. So, and I was not really able, I'm not precise, I'm not really, I cannot do like precise things.
Okay.
I was not invoicing, I was doing mistakes, I was paying the wrong people, and was getting crazy.
Wow, yeah. To be honest, I have an accountant since the year I started out, because I knew I was pretty bad at that. So the first person that I hired was an accountant, but I don't have them in-house. Okay, it's not needed. And a lawyer, of course, okay, because I had a lawyer already to take care of my issues. But yes, I assume the next step would be a project manager to take care of the workflow, I guess, and then to grow the business. I think that the surprising for me is the sales that you mentioned, because I think the pain point for all of us is to take after the sales and the sales part, which is very crucial for a company, any kind of company, not only translation.
Oh, that's still a pain point for me.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me. I really hate cold calling. I go after exhibitions straight first to find my clients, cold email, warm email, anything else, but the phone calls for me are the worst part. Okay, so nice. Thank you for sharing your experience as well. We have some questions, Mariana. I've seen your question, but we will keep it. I don't know if you want to go after to answer now, or we can keep the questions for later, whatever you prefer. So my next question, I think it was about mentoring, and if you have any, what is your, I think, if you're involved in mentoring or training, because I know that you have created also, you are a founder of CW Lab, is that correct?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm very much into working with young people. In fact, the first team that I mentioned, the 8-people team in-house, was all from university. And the reason why I chose Genoa as for my office is because I'm really close to the translation school and the university. So I love working with them, and I think 90% of my team now is coming from internships. So I love working with students. We involve many students and fresh graduates in our projects. And at some point I realized that there were many gaps in the skills and knowledge about the industry. And I was getting the same questions over and over again. I was seeing the same mistakes. So I thought of building a platform where we would share basic knowledge about the industry for free. Okay. So yes, we have the CW Lab with in Italian right now, but
but I know
something will happen very soon.
Okay, you have a surprise for the future. Okay.
Not for you, but for everybody else, yes.
Yeah, for everybody else.
And it had a huge success because the knowledge gaps are huge.
Exactly. That's why I created the mentoring program as well myself, because I saw the problems.
Yeah, so we share the very same vision, but
yeah, exactly.
I don't have the persistence to do what you do every Friday with the program. So I thought, let's share some videos. And
yeah, but you do like different things that are so time consuming for you as well. For me, the thing is that they tell me it's so difficult what I'm doing, but I really enjoy it. I see us having a coffee with a friend or a colleague from another country and sharing some ideas, and why not brainstorming and sharing our experience to people. And they see it as webinars because we share so much valuable information. So many translators contact me and they tell me that they find very valuable information in those videos, and I'm really satisfied, because my initial purpose was also to share our knowledge and experience, but to have some fun while we are in the lockdown and we cannot travel and meet colleagues. So why not to find this way? Yeah. And thank you for participating. About internships that you mentioned, because I'm approached by my university to take, and I am a bit afraid of that, because for me it's a double time to educate the new translators, and there are some times that I really need help. So I reach the point that I really need help anytime that I hire someone. So taking someone from an internship, like my university approached me to do that, to participate in such a program, I'm very hesitating on taking that step, because I think for me it will be like less the results from what I'm going to offer, like educating, which I really love to educate, but when you need help in your office, or you need help right now, I don't see it as an efficient way to take some weight out of my shoulders, whereas I will have to educate them like more than 3 months, I assume. What is your opinion?
It depends on the kind of internship. We have shorter ones. It's 150 hours, which is not even a month. At this very moment, we have, I think, 6 people. So we are 12 employees, and we have 6 interns. 4 are linguists, and they are remote. And then we have someone working on a specific project related to the e-learning platform.
Okay, you take them remotely as well. You work with them remotely as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do have someone in the company managing just internships.
I think in Greece they need to be in-house. I think I have to check this out.
Well, that's new. That's a new thing because of the COVID.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, great. Some opportunities in the crisis.
I know it's difficult to teach and get help. It's not an easy thing to do. My suggestion would be take one if you can, of course, teach something. I was looking for someone in sales, for instance, but I'm not having an intern on that because I don't have anything to teach. So,
exactly. So you have to find someone that you have something to teach them. And also in sales, you should find someone that's not from a translation school or a university department. So you have to find the sales from another department or university. And my next question... What?
No. Was just nothing.
My next question would be, in what percentage those internships that you take and you teach them things results to become your employees in the future?
Oh, we take so many that if I kept all of them, I would be a huge company by now. So, and some are not even from Genoa, so they didn't want to move and come to the office. But I have. Well, we're going from start now. We are 12, and last year we had 8 full-time employees, so we are quite growing. I hire 2 to 3 people every year. And
from internships, those people were from internships? Okay, that was my question. So you take people, you hire people from internships. That's very positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I said, 90% of the team is from internships.
Okay, wow, 90%. That was, I have here 90% written. Okay, great. So we talk about your background.
That's a good way to get to know the people, and so when you hire someone,
you know,
someone you have. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Please do.
No, when you hire someone in Italy, you can keep them on a trial for 2 months, but that's not always enough. So I see the internship also as a way to get to know people more than you get with the trial period.
Okay, also to know the people, the chemistry that they have with you, the way they work, and also you teach them your processes and the way you want them to work for you. Okay,
absolutely.
And I've seen here in Greece, because I ran also a voluntary program for the Certified Translators Association, there were some translators, they own companies or small offices here in Greece, and they had internships from our university, but so some of them became competitors, if we can say. They get to know the work and they go and they open their office. Is there something you can say to those people that they feel like some not very sure if they should go into that step or not, and how to deal with such situation? You were a competitor to your previous partner, but still, okay, it's fine.
I think it's a huge market. There are many possibilities, so I don't fear. Well, also even with the learning platform, I'm teaching something to linguists that could go and work with for my competitors. That's just fine. I mean,
Yeah, and also you mentioned you got an internship from your competitor, so it works for you. You don't feel like somehow
threatened. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel at all threatened.
And you have them sign up for a confidentiality agreement or something like that.
Of course.
So you be secure that the information, the way that you work, is not going to be a.
Yeah, okay. Well, of course, I can't guarantee that they're not disclosing. But
exactly. And I also agree with you that there is a huge pie out there, and there is a piece of that pie for all of us in terms of work.
Absolutely.
Especially if we work with international clients rather than locally.
Yeah, the secret is doing things better than everybody else. So that's what we strive for.
Exactly. So our topic, let's get into our today's topic. So what LSPs look for when they look for a new translator?
Of course, I'm just sharing my experience.
Okay.
We try to be a technologically advanced company as much as we can. So there are a lot of technological skills that we look for when we look for translators.
Okay, that's really
important. Either in-house or not.
Yeah, there is a question about CAT tools, I think. Someone filled in the form. I've sent you the question. I don't know if you want us to take a look at now, since you mentioned technical skills.
Yes.
If you want. It's the one that I sent you on Skype. So someone filled in the form and they say, I would like to know if there is any reason that makes an LSP manager to choose between two fresh graduates with the same language combination, almost same experience from a resume only before the interview. For example, it's more valuable certification in a specific CAT tool or volunteer experiences as a translation and so on. Thanks. They say, thank you for submitting that question.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we hold the ISO certification for translation services, and part of our recruiting process, whether in-house or not, is we do a translation test. So my direct reply would be, I wouldn't stop myself with seeing if the resume contains any CAT tool or volunteering experience. I don't usually stop at the CV. So what we do is we do an interview and we do a translation test.
Okay. And the interview would be also for freelancers. So you do a video call or something, so as to get to know.
Well, that's something we are building right now. Let's say we're building our vendor management.
Okay.
So, and we get many applications every day. So we cannot do a call for everybody. And also, in this particular moment, for instance, we are not recruiting any new freelancer because we have a huge number of freelancers in our database. And we think it's respectful for them and for us, for our time, and not to submit a translation test and then forget about them. We wouldn't have the volumes to give jobs to everybody. So we just stop that for the moment. But yeah, my idea would be to have a call with them, or at least an email exchange that doesn't stop at the looking at the CV.
Okay, and there is an application that you use process, or just the interview and then the test?
It's the of course we have a look at the curriculum, and then we have this email exchange, and then we have the test. Of course, you have to decide on the rates and look at the tools that they offer. Volunteering experiences, also to connect to the question, is important. And also the test for me is difficult because I don't believe very much in the test translation, because I think it's not the real scenario that you are in. You don't have the pressure of time, the delivery, and so on. So you can ask everybody else to check your translation, and of course you wouldn't do that for real projects. So, but still, it's a process that we need to have. So we have that, and I suppose after that we do a trial period, of course with paid projects, of course, and we monitor quality very strictly. So it's quite a complex process.
Yeah, it's okay. It makes sense though, for you to be sure also for the skills and also. for the translator. But about CAT tools and technology that you mentioned, you would like to go a bit deeper so as to let people know what would be of interest right now. I know that you're talking about your own experience, and that's what we're talking about. I see people coming in, so they're really interested in that part of our topic. So to satisfy them.
First thing, well, if you want to work for an LSP, I suppose you need to at least know what a CAT tool is. And list a couple of them at least. It could be any, because if you know how to use one, then it's easy to learn other.
Okay.
Yeah, and to learn other ones.
Do they have to own the tool? Like I use Trados, and I have Trados 2019, for example. Am I a right candidate, or I should have a list of?
Well, if you use Trados, it could mean, to my eyes, that you have experience. Meaning that if you can afford a Trados license, it could mean it's not for granted, but it could mean that you've been working for quite a while. You don't just start translate and buy Trados from scratch.
Even though, Diego, I do have it as a student. I got it as a student. Okay. The first Trados 2011, I think, and since then I've been updating every year. But here in Greece, they ask us only for Trados. They do not use any other CAT tool. Maybe maybe Memsource.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a limited market.
We use all of them. I mean, we use Memsource, STM, MQ. We use all of them. Yeah. It's not required for us to have a license, because we use Markup as well, which is free and online. For Memsource, we give out our licenses, so it's not really strictly necessary to have the license. Maybe if we start working together, after 1 year, I could ask you, listen, we use Trados for all of our projects. So on this account, maybe this particular customer that you're translating for, let's get Trados for you. Maybe you can buy Trados through us and you get a discount. In some cases, we also bought the license for the freelancer.
Wow, wow. That's why freelancers love you. And as I mentioned, this is the reason why I invited you and not just a CEO or just a translation company owner, because you freelancers really love to work with you. You have a great feedback from other freelancers, and you're very active in the translation industry in general as a part of the freelancers and also company owners. So you have a great balance between these two parts of our industries.
Well, I always say we would be nothing without the freelancers.
Exactly.
I mean, we would be like, we have 4 linguists in house. So if we can scale with huge volumes, it's because of the freelancer community. So.
Okay. So
it's normal to value them.
Of course, for me, yes, but not all LSP owners are that approachable or next to a freelancer, as you did also to help them buy a CAT tool. You don't see it every day. This is something that also the CW lab that you have created, and also that you do a lot of interest. So it shows that you have a great interest into helping new translators, and you are next to freelancers. So that's pretty nice. And thank you so much for doing all this. So we talk about CAT tools. I think we answered your question. If you still have any question about the CAT tool and we didn't cover the question, please do comment below this video. We can come back of that. But it's very important that Diego mentioned that you need at least to know one CAT tool. What do you think of translators who don't use CATs, only open cloud tools? They're still
Marianne, by open cloud, you mean still CAT tools, but not...
They're still CAT tools,
So, well, maybe they're okay. I mean, the reasoning, the features are the same as desktop-based CAT tools, I guess. So I'm not against anybody working only with SmartCAT or any other tool. I don't know. For instance, I've never used some of them. So if you, well, I don't even remember the names. They are like WordFaster. I have no idea what it is, but it's just my experience. So it's okay to use CAT tools. I'm not against using open cloud CAT tools. I'm sort of against people that don't want to use any CAT tools. I'm against.
you're against. You need to have. The translators need to have at least knowledge of a CAD tool, and they
need to be willing to use a CAD tools.
To learn also new CAD tools. That's very important. I'm curious, why translation company do they need to have many different, like more than 2 CAD tools when they work with their clients, for example? Since you take care of what tools you are going to use, they do not know what you use. Is that correct?
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of customers that you have. You know, many buyers, they use a CAD tool.
Okay, they know. Okay, so they know that. Okay.
So yeah, for instance, they might have Word Server or XDM. So for instance, German customers, they use a lot of Across.
Really? Okay.
So yeah.
Even direct end clients, even the end clients.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So that they choose for us basically, or they have their own tool. Yeah, I agree that, for instance, when we can choose, we always choose MemSource, for instance. On direct customers that do the CAD tool. But then we work with many companies, with many MLVs as well, multi-language vendors. So again, it's them choosing what CAD tools we should use.
Of course, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So we talked about CAD tools. Any other, which are the hard and soft skills that we look into our vendors and translators you mentioned here?
Okay, I don't want to spend much time on that.
Okay.
I think that now it's important to be able, at least, to be open to use machine translation and.
Okay. Yes, we were. Yeah, I would like to talk about a bit of that because it's the future anyway. So why not to make clear that we are not talking about post-editing, but it's machine translation, which is the future. So why not? If you would like to, let us know what is this and what is the future.
Well, the future is bright, I would say. I think, yeah. What I'd like to say to freelancers, of course, we do machine translation ourselves. We ask for post-editing. We train post editors and we do that kind of stuff. But I think that machine translation can be a great opportunity for freelancers as well, where they can use that as a productivity tool in order to increase their margins, to work less for more, or I don't know, to have more free time, whatever you want to choose. But it's there, it's available, it's cheap because it's really cheap. So I love when freelancers use machine translation on their own because they understand it's a great productivity tool.
So as to be more clear to people that they're watching us now, by machine translation, we could include that the Google Translate or any other like DeepL.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah,
because for Greek, there is no, DeepL has no Greek, I think, yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, there
I
are
think
many.
in the future they will add it, so I'm patient.
Well, for instance, the Amazon machine translation engine is great, at least for Italian and other languages. So yeah, it's a productivity tool like any other, and I guess freelancers with their direct customers, they don't necessarily tell them that they're using a CAD tool, for instance. And for me, it's just the same. Of course, if you work with an agency and if there are many people, many steps in the value chain, then they would do machine translation themselves. I work with MLVs, and most of the time they do machine translation themselves, or the final customers does that. But if you can, I would say, learn how to use it, learn how to train an engine, your own engine, choose your own engine and do that. It's a great opportunity.
So we mentioned already some of the machine translations. Thank you so much for also mentioning the Amazon. We'll take a look at that. I assume that there is a specific kind of text that we can work with machine translation in a great way or not. Can you mention a few type of text and specializations that the translator should have in order to get into a machine translation?
Well, we've been asked to work with basically any kind of topic or anything. Of course, it was best with technical.
Technical.
And yeah, in this very moment, we are testing translation of a book with machine translation.
Okay, that would be challenging.
It's not nothing very highly creative, but still, it's a book. So it's
a book. If it's a manual,
it needs to be very fluent.
Yeah.
Sorry?
If it's a manual, it would make sense for a book.
No, it's not a manual. That's an actual book. But of course, e-commerce, technical translations. We've been using that for legal as well. I know that.
Really? Is it okay? What is the result? Okay.
Well, when I say legal, I'm talking about terms and conditions, so very standard
something
text.
Typical, something that's with a typical structure, for example.
Exactly.
What about
very repetitive?
Repetitive. What about medical, pharmaceutical translation or like clinical trials? Because I know that they're repetitive, but still.
They are repetitive, but they're very specialized. So I guess that would work if you train your engine with the terminology and so on.
You have to train.
You cannot use a stock engine like DeepL with medical and pharmaceutical translation. I would not do that.
Okay. Okay, that's nice.
Patents, for instance, if we have anybody doing patents, for patents and intellectual property, then it's great.
Intellectual property, yeah.
That's great. I mean, the output is really excellent.
Yeah, it might have to do also with the language combination, because I know German, English, Italian.
Sure.
Therefore, the most common language like Greek, we are a bit back.
Well, I think it depends on the volumes that particular combination has.
It is very, very small language combination, I think, Greek in any case. So.
But I know many companies doing a lot of machine translation post-editing in Greek. So,
and you would like to mention what's the main difference between machine translation and post-editing for those that are watching us now, so they are confused.
So between machine translation and post-editing, you mean?
Yeah,
well, machine translation is translating the text with the software or like DeepL and so on. Post-editing is bringing it to the level of quality required by the customer. So it's basically reviewing the translation, following the project guidelines, and match the project requirements by the customer.
Am I wrong that I have in my mind that whenever I do machine translation, I should include post-editing in the project or not? I had in my mind that there somehow connect those two. That you have to include post-editing if you're going to use machine translation, no? Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, for the majority of texts.
Up to now, at least, yeah. Up to now.
Yeah, the post-editing is required. Could be light post-editing. I mean, there's a whole word. Could be light post-editing depending on the. It depends on the quality that the customer wants, and it depends on the time that the particular text will last. I mean, if it's something that will last for one day or it will be consumed very soon in a week, let's say, then it will disappear. Then it's okay to use machine translation with light post-editing, for instance.
Okay. So you really encourage those that are starting out or they would like to take the next step in their career working with LSPs to get into learning CAD tools, technology, machine translation, post-editing, the things that are the future. So if you're feeling stuck right now or you would like to update your skills so as to be updated with the developments in our profession, if you would like at least Diego's opinion on that is for you to become updated with technology in general, CAD tools, machine translation, and post-editing. And that's the future, I think, because you have mentioned in the comments of what you would like us to talk about today, the importance of ongoing training and preparing for the future.
Yes,
I think we've talked about that a bit, but you would like to be more clear on that or to give us more details?
Well, we didn't talk about soft skills still,
no, we didn't. Yeah, I wait for you.
One of the soft skills that I wanted to mention is flexibility.
Wow,
and when I say flexibility is the attitude, the willing to learn new things. And this relates also to Marianne's question about what other services can be offered to customers. There's a huge world. I mean, it's changing very, very fast. And there are many interesting projects that are still language related, but are not translation. We just completed the project of data collection, where we needed to basically create content for training a chatbot.
Wow.
So every machine learning system, and chatbots are one of them, such as machine translation, for instance, they need a huge amount of data to be trained, to improve. So we were into a project where we would create many data and textual data, so we needed to create content in order to train these engines. And this is another services which is like exploding right now in terms of volumes. And then we have, of course, machine translation, post-editing, and pre-editing. And there are other services related to language as well. Accessibility, for instance, is a big thing right now. So, for instance, created subtitles for people that cannot see very well, cannot hear very well.
Yeah, I think that's the future as well in terms of what it will be needed. I did a huge project for Google, text-to-speech projects, also for people with disabilities or chatbots. So text-to-speech would be like also the software we have on our mobile to send messages and vocal voice messages. A lot of translators, they have work behind of that. Marianne, I'm going to ask Diego later, so we will reply to that question about marketing later. So you mentioned about soft skills, flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility would be one of them. And I think, I don't know if it's a skill or not, but you need to be good at communicating.
Okay, communication skills. Of course,
communication with your customer, it's very good. There is a soft skill, an hard skill that I didn't mention, and I wanted to.
Yeah, please.
I want to mention that later. And I think also problem solving, it's a very needed skill nowadays.
For a freelance translator as well?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
If I talk with my project manager, my project managers, the best freelancers that we have are the ones that can find solution on their own sometimes. The project managers are not the technical support of SDL or any other tool where we are. Sometimes they ask questions that are not stupid, but you could find the answer online in a support website and so on.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Problem solving is good. And they need to be creative in the way they think. So creative thinking as well.
Way of thinking. I'm noting down. You know, for me, the main issue that I have with translators is flexibility. It's the first one that you mentioned. So they never like negotiate the deadline or the rate or whatever that would be in terms of the cooperation. They have learned to work in a very specific way, so they are not that adaptable to any other ways of working. So that makes our work much more difficult in the end, because we have the end client, we have the translators, we have the editors, so we are in the middle, project manager. So I think flexibility. And also I mentioned to you, I don't remember about the masterclass, that I mentioned that I did an exception to serve a client of mine on a Saturday, and I got so many comments in the comments area from translators that this shouldn't happen. So your customer didn't respect you, and they won't respect you if you do not educate them. So yeah, it's also a matter of mindset and how you see it. And I was explaining as a soft skill, the flexibility as well, and professionalism. So for me, it's a way of professionalism that also shows professionalism, that you are able to serve your clients' needs. So for me, it wasn't like more than 5 or 10 minutes to serve them, like deliver the project on a Saturday. Rather than tell them, no, I cannot help you, because we're problem solver as well as company owners and service providers, because we are service providers. We want to serve other people, but not, become overwhelmed or think that they do not respect us. So we have to keep a balance. But then also, I can mention another example with a mentee of mine. I told them that I have a bank account in all banks here in Greece. We have 5 other things. So as to serve my clients' needs. And they told me, oh, that's overwhelming and you're exaggerating. And I told them, no, I think that's professionalism of mine, because I want to serve them rather than to send them to a bank that they do not work with. Why not to have a bank account in all of the banks, so as to make them easier the payment way. So you can see how different is to different point of views of the same issue. Like having 5 bank accounts for me is professional, for another translator would be like exaggeration.
Well, that's also flexibility. Sometimes we are asked to work at night for a specific project or to work many hours. Of course, we try to find an agreement with the customers, maybe a retainer agreement for some projects, or there are many things you can do. But I think helping the customer, as you did on Saturday for 10 minutes, you will probably get that customer back many times.
Yeah, and I got a very good testimonial, Diego, that I was so surprised. They went to 2-3 places and they left the testimonials for me. So they just didn't give a testimonial. They wrote a very good testimonial. Just for 5 minutes, I did that to serve their needs on a Saturday. For me, was nothing. Absolutely. But I would like to explain to you that how different can be the mindset and the way of thinking, as you mentioned, of the soft skills. So yeah, I totally agree with you. That's a soft skill that we should take into consideration.
And also flexibility means to be up to date with the market. I saw this morning someone forwarded me a screenshot of a Facebook group where someone was, there are many people asking for help. Against students, and they were asking for help on a rate for a specific language combination. And the admin of that group was in a rate which is really out of the market. It's really not feasible anymore. I mean, well,
why?
I don't
what
know.
Was it?
I think it was German into Italian, and it was more than 20 cents per word, which is something that nobody I know of would be willing to pay. So flexibility also means not to fight the way the market is going, but trying to adapt and be proactive in finding new solutions, new offer, new services. So that's also important, in my opinion. And that's what we try to do with the company, with my company, of course, which is just the same. I mean, the freelancer is just a small company.
Exactly. That's what we try to convince people watching us every Friday. That's why we cover the business side of translation. We have to take ourselves as freelancers, just freelancers, but as company owners, even if we are solopreneurs, if we can say that, and not a CEO as you. But the way of thinking and the strategy behind of that should be the same, I think. So
absolutely.
So to wrap up what you mentioned already, you mentioned flexibility, communication skills, problem solving, way of thinking, and up to date with the market as soft skills. And as hard skills in order to make a list, like with them, you mentioned also up to date with the market. You mentioned also technology, knowledge, so CAT tools, and good translation skills, of course.
That's the one I wanted to mention. It's really important not to be taken for granted. Language quality is very good, of course. And it's not, again, to be taken for granted. The ability to create fluent sentences in a target language is not always like that. I mean, I usually say that technology and language have the same importance.
Really? So you have them at the same level? Language skills and CAT tools knowledge are at the same level. Also meeting the deadlines for me. It's at the same level.
Don't forget that. Probably the last item about hard skill would be keeping the deadlines or managing the admin stuff.
Time management.
Time management, that's probably more soft than hard, but like being independent from an administration point of view, for instance. Sometimes I get asked questions that are like astonishing for me, like a freelancer works for me and they want an invoice from me at the end of the month. It's not like that. You should send me your invoice. It's not that I send you mine. And this
I lost the sentence, the last sentence you mentioned.
Okay, sorry. Well, the freelancer was asking me for an invoice.
Yes.
Why they should be issued the invoice, not me. You know what I mean?
They didn't know that they have to issue an invoice to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they were that new in the business. I don't know.
They were new, but it's something that you should learn at school, probably. But
basic accounting skills, how to
basic
say that?
accounting is very important because project managers, they are really very busy and they don't have the time to spend time replying this kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's very important.
Did we miss anything? You mentioned language quality skills, CAD tools, meeting the deadlines, time management, basic accounting.
Again, technical skills also means to be able, and language, related to languages, being able to evaluate, for instance, a machine translation output. I would specify that. Being able to work with terminology, that's important.
Terminology, yeah. Do you look for all of this in one person, or do you have people that they do terminology, or they do like evaluate machine translation results? Or do you look all of those in one person?
No, you cannot have everything in one person. So you can specialize, but not doing everything yourself.
Okay. And what about...
very good quality evaluators that don't know anything about terminology, more or less.
And in terms of a freelancer and in-house, do you look different things when you hire a freelancer and in-house? Because we mentioned in our title what LSPs look for when they look for a new translator, in-house or not. So my curiosity was like, is there any difference in that? Do you like look for
not in terms of hard skills, I would say. Okay. But when you do an interview, and you want to hire someone in-house, you look for something else. You look for the
communication skills.
Communications, team working, the willingness to contribute to the company. Yeah. But those are all soft skills. In terms of hard skills, I can't see anything really. But soft skills, the attitude needs to be quite different.
Okay. So we mentioned the soft skills, we mentioned the hard skills. Thank you so much. So you were about to talk about the importance of ongoing training, or we covered that already? What do you think?
I think so, yes.
Okay, and preparing for the future, is that you mentioned about the machine translation and post-editing and being up to date with the markets, is that correct?
Exactly.
Would you like to mention something more detailed on that? What is the future? Is the machine translation, the post-editing?
Oh, that's the future, but also data collection, chatbot, and so on.
Data collection, chatbot. Okay, I mentioned also the text-to-speech, also subtitling for people with disabilities. Okay, and before we going, how belonging to an association can help you boost your skills? Because you are the right person to talk about that. When we met, I didn't mention how I've met with Diego. I think when we met, when I was a speaker at Elia Together this year, and you were and are still director of Elia Together, the association?
I still am, because I used my mandate should end this year, but then we decided to make it one more year because of the situation we are living. And yeah, well, I don't want to say that being in the board of directors is important. Of course it is. But also being in the association as member.
That's what my question. Yeah, becoming a member.
That was great. Well, I learned so much being in Elia. It's just an association. Well, other associations as well, of course. I'm not promoting Elia. It helped me so much with learning new things, meeting new people, doing networking, exchanging ideas about new services, new skills, and approaches that people were taking. Brainstorming. When I was at the Elia conference in Barcelona last year, I heard about a company that were using a training program for finding new people, and that also my idea with the learning platform. So it's a huge exchange of information. And
finding new people. What do you mean finding new people? You mean as working with like freelancers? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that particular company is in a very small country. I think it's Finland, and very good translators are very rare in Finland. So they need to train them, and they developed a training program very specific, very like the idea. So every time I talk with someone during a conference or during a meeting, or I see a presentation, I really learn new things, and that's really important for everybody. Of course, if you get to speech to conference as well as you were supposed to do in Milano.
But I did it online. It was a great experience.
Yeah, you did it online, of course.
I wish I was there live as well, because in my opinion, Elia Together has great also networking, and also networking between freelancers and companies. The only association that does that. So
yeah, that's a very good event. Yeah, of course, also online. It's good for visibility.
Of course, yes.
For inbound marketing, when you get all the customers we have, since we don't have a sales team, it's because of visibility that we.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, do you think by belonging to an association, you also, beside of networking, brainstorming, exchanging ideas, learning new things, you also get clients from that?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's also something you should mention, yeah.
Yeah, Elia is an association of companies, so we got many jobs from other companies, the associations. We do have a directory, so people can find us there. And I guess it's the same for freelancers, actually, because if you create your network of freelancers, and I suppose that's how it works for you, then you can maybe get some jobs for, I don't know, for a colleague that cannot afford, doesn't have the time to do that job, or they are requested different languages that they cannot manage. So networking is really important. And we have some customers that came to us because of this visibility and this belonging to associations. So it's not that they find you because of the association, but then they validate your activity and what you do online and what you do in the association.
They follow up with you later, so they see. Okay.
Yeah, so they want, when they check, it's like the LinkedIn profile. You need to have it, not because you get found there, but the customers they go there and check you. You
will be found there, I can tell you that. On LinkedIn, at least, yeah, okay.
Well, I got huge customers because of LinkedIn.
Me too.
Even if they find you somewhere else, that's what I meant. They go there to check your reputation, what you do, and if you are active in the market, if you keep learning new things. So I think it's important, for instance.
Yeah, you gain credibility, if you can say, by belonging to a very well-established association as Elia. And do you belong to any other association? Are you a member?
As a member, yes. Gala. And
Gala for companies, yeah.
Yes, for companies. And then my company belongs to an association which is not very well known, but it's called Eulogia. I suppose it's the right.
Eulita?
Eulogia.
Eulogia, okay.
That's a different kind of association because it's a closed group of companies, and we have a member for each language.
Wow.
And it's invitation based, so you get invited to join.
And what is the purpose? Is translation companies there as well? Or
yeah, all translation companies. There's one from France, one from Spain, and so on.
Is it Euphoria? You mean Euphoria?
No, Eulogia.
Eulogia, because you belong to another one. I've seen you on LinkedIn, and it has a Greek name. I was trying to
that's
remember.
Eulogia.
Eulogia. Okay, this is Greek word. That's a Greek word. And I was seeing that you were posting something about that. Yeah. So yeah, Eulogia, it's in Greek. Yeah, Eulogia. Okay, thank you for mentioning that. Okay, that's it. But you've seen that taking advantage of all the advantages of becoming a member to an association, either as a director or as a simple member. And you mentioned already some of the most common client acquisition strategies as public speaking, networking, are all of them. Visibility, gaining visibility is also something that most of my mentees, they seem to struggle with, and as the main pain point is become visible and get out there. And I understand that public speaking is not for everyone, okay, and I don't encourage all of my mentees to do that if they are not willing to, but networking, for example, attending conferences and association events, why not? That also you gain visibility there.
Well, absolutely. I cannot really understand how some companies, and I'm talking about companies, they don't go to conferences.
I really don't understand that too. Yeah, I've written an article on LinkedIn. They can go and watch it, how my whole career changed when I first attended one international.
I read that already.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, okay. It talks about one specific conference, but for me it's the same, whatever that conference could be, because it's to make that first step to attend and become a member of an association, international one, and also attend such a conference, international one, because I really point out that because for me changed the whole point of view of my career and how I did scale up later and everything I did. I think I owe it to attending such international events and also taking the vibes of people that they have succeeded already, brainstorming, exchanging ideas, as you mentioned. So all of this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, conferences are good because it's a safe place to discuss. You don't feel the competition.
Exactly. And I got so much inspiration. For me, inspiration is so important. Ideas of what I could implement in my country, in my business. And also the inspiration, as I told you, motivation to go after my goals, because I've seen people that they did it. So I assume that I can do it as well. I think it's half of the process, implementing any strategy, if you have the motivation, inspiration to go after your goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so to wrap up everything, I think we covered all of our topics. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I have just last questions for you, because they have been asking, what is the best client or most efficient, as we can say, client acquisition strategy that you use in general?
I would say it's inbound marketing, because we don't do anything else. So we do a lot of effort in creating.
Okay, inbound marketing can be social media, can be blogging, can be having your website, leads. Yeah. Most of the people, they answer that as referrals. Okay, as the most common or most efficient client acquisition strategy. And what worked pretty well for you and your business right now because of the coronavirus? This is a question that I have had only because of the event. And I really want to give the positive, something really that works really well for you, even during nowadays with the crisis that all of us have been dealing with. If something works really well for your company, what that would be?
Last month for us was the best month ever.
Wow, right, that's very positive to share. Someone that says that it has the best month during coronavirus, because last month was May. Okay, after the end of coronavirus. Okay,
it was after the end, but we could stay at home if you wanted. I mean, smart working is still in place here. But last month was the best month ever, and that's because of us being flexible again and open to other services, because we got a huge project on data collection.
Okay, that's also flexibility. Yes, that's something different, but very like, yeah, it's connected with translation as well. Yeah, data collection. Okay.
Yeah, so diversification was what saved us during the coronavirus.
That's very important that you mentioned that. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And for those that they have been asking you here in the comments, what clients should they go after right now, or specialization or type of projects, if they want to find clients? What is needed right now in the market?
I guess we sent many quotes lately about e-commerce, because people during this lockdown period, they understood finally.
E-commerce, you mean localization of a website? What else that would be e-commerce?
Well, localization of website, and in particular e-commerce websites, so catalog
websites.
Yeah, because in Italy, at least, many companies were just focusing on the internal market, so Italian market, and now they saw that if you want to survive such crises as we had, you need to be on different markets. So we got many requests for quotes for website, e-commerce, and this kind of stuff. So that's an opportunity.
And for those that
online presence.
Yeah, online presence. And for those that they're based in Italy and now they're confused, because I think Italy was the country that was hit from coronavirus the most out of all the other countries. What do you suggest? And go after international clients? What do you suggest to Italian translators right now, if you have any suggestion?
But again, if you differentiate, because if you only serve, like, I don't know,
certified translation, for example, in Italy, you have to go to the court. You have to go to the court. So everyone that was a certified translator, I know that from my mentees, they lost their work, or like 90% of their work, because they did certified translation, which is needed for you to be present at the court in Italy.
Yeah, for instance, so if you have different customers, maybe you can have a mix of direct customers and companies, LSPs, because LSPs, the reason why we are here is because we serve different customers in different markets. So we have a differentiation of services, and that's what saved us and could save the freelancers as well.
Okay, and so what do you?
If you have the very same type of customer, and then something happens like COVID, then you are just in troubles, because if you only serve lawyers, and there's, I don't know, something about lawyers, it's a mess.
Diversification is the answer. And my last question from my mentees, they really love to work with LSPs. They really love that they do not need to market themselves. They really love that they have a steady workflow most of the times, but their main pain point is that the rates are going lower and lower. What do you suggest in such cases, like to those mentees? You are on the other side, but
well, it's true that the rates are going lower and lower, and for us, we are also in the middle, so it's not something we decide. Exactly. So it's not something we can really do anything against, I guess. It really depends on the strategy that you have. I'm against with the customers going with lower and lower rates. So there's a threshold that really you can go under that. You need to find that threshold and then stick to it. I mean, if you don't want
you need to find.
Yeah, the rate that you're the lowest rate that you're willing to charge your customers.
Your minimum rate. Okay, so as you know, what works for you and your business, and you can make an ends meet. Like at the end of the month, you can pay your bills. What does
exactly? You need to do your calculations. For company-wise, business-wise, it's called break-even point. Under that, you cannot go, and you need to understand that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I teach them, that you have to set your own rates in order to be able to pay your bills in the end of the month. And then you negotiate the rates with the LSP if you're really willing to work with that LSP and you know that you cooperate very well and you are able like to negotiate the rates a bit lower, but you are like very satisfied with the payment terms. They pay us up, for example, not 60 days. So there are advantages and disadvantages you have to take into account. So once again, thank you so much. We almost like 1 hour and 15 minutes here. To wrap up, for those of you who want to go and watch the recording, we talked about a brief professional history of Diego's story, how Diego started out as a translator, how Diego found his first client, and now how he became a CEO and company, translation company founder. Which are the hard and soft skills that they look, LSPs look in their translators, the importance of ongoing training and preparing for the future, what the market needs nowadays, what you should do to prepare yourself for the future, how belonging to an association can help you boost your skills. And if you still have any questions, you can use the comments area below. We will see them. Diego is a member in our Mentoring for Translators group, so we can see them in the group later. The recording will remain in the Mentoring for Translators group on YouTube channel under my name and on my Facebook page, Virginia Katsibi. So you would like to see the recording, they will be there. And people, they say that they're insightful. Thank you also. We're glad that you find this insightful. I don't know if you would like to add anything, Diego?
Oh, it was really great to share my experience, and I would love to continue the conversation if someone has some comments or questions.
Yeah, so if you, because some people, they might watch the recording and they might comment later. So we will see the comments. If you would like to tag Diego so as to be able to see your comments, very enlightening. They say, thank you, you're welcome. Thank you for all of you for being here and attending this live on Friday as well. Thank you, Diego, for being here and sharing your own experience. And you were so like generous with your knowledge and your background. You didn't keep any secrets or anything. You shared everything you had.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I really enjoyed this discussion. For me, it's always something new. I always learn something new. So thank you, all of you. See you in the group. Bye-bye for now. You can always watch the recording. Thank you, Diego.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.